Wow! Oh, man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
What is up, guys? You're now listening to the Party on Broad podcast. Today, I am your special guest host filling in for Chris today because he has a lot of awesome Sixers content planned for this podcast and this YouTube channel, to be more specific. So please subscribe to the Painted Lions YouTube channel. We're quickly approaching 1,000 subscribers and we really appreciate all your support lately, guys. I am your special guest host today, Stephen Conrad Jr. You can follow me on Twitter at PhillyFanaticYT. Let's break down this Eagles game, shall we? So, heading into this game, we expected probably the easiest game on the Eagles' schedule up to this point, and it could be, probably looking back on it, one of the easiest games on the season, probably, most likely. For many different reasons. The Jets just aren't that good of a team, if we're being honest, and they were playing without their starting quarterback, Sam Darnold. Is there such a thing as an ugly blowout win? Because I think this was one of them. I don't know about you guys, but even basically a day after the game, a whole night of sleeping on the game and gathering my thoughts, I still kind of am not feeling all that great about the game. I'm starting to feel better as time goes on and I really think about it. There are some positive things to be taken out about this game, and we will be talking about that. But there's also some negative things, and there's also some point of concerns that I'm going to bring up today. So, can I just say something? It was so refreshing. I don't care who the opponent was and stuff like that. It was so nice to see this defensive line finally get after the quarterback. And boy, did they get after the quarterback. 10 sacks for this defensive line. 10 sacks. To me, that was the biggest point of this game. I don't care who the opponent is. It was great to see this defensive line finally get some pressure and get some freaking hits on the quarterback, and they did that. We've been looking for that all season, and we just hope and pray to God that this trend will continue, especially against some of these tough opponents we're going to be facing in the coming weeks. It starts with Minnesota in about a week from now, and we will be breaking that down. But really refreshing. Basically, everybody except for our best player on the defensive line got some sacks. Brandon Graham was the most noteworthy. He had 3 sacks in this game, which is a career high. So a big round of applause for Brandon Graham. Fan favorite. Love the guy. That's awesome. Super happy for the guy. Everybody got in the action. Derek Barnett had a sack. Josh Sweat. A few other guys recorded some sacks as well. Just altogether, awesome performance for this defense. Really, this defense is the biggest positive thing you can pull out of this game. This defense not only recorded 10 sacks, this defense scored 2 touchdowns. Our defense put up 14 points on the board. It all started with a Nathan Gary pick 6, which was after the Eagles scored a touchdown on the opening drive, which is like the biggest bright spot for this offense in this game was the opening drive touchdown. And besides that, a lot of concerning things to me that we will be talking about. So yeah, Nathan Gary had a pick 6. Rodney McLeod had a nice interception, which we already had great field position off the interception, but Rodney McLeod returned it for a decent amount. Didn't score a touchdown, but that's fine. And then also Orlando Scandrick. I never would thought I would ever be cheering for a former Cowboys player. He completely took the ball out of the Jets quarterback. I don't remember his name. Is it Luke Falk, I believe it was at the time? He just completely stripped the ball out of his hands and took it back for a touchdown. So this defense put up 14 points. Round of applause for the defense. Great performance for the defense. Best performance on the year. The stats this defense put up is going to be really misleading for the season stats for the defense, because let's be honest, this whole season this defense has been terrible to this point, and it's going to be really misleading because this was just a dominant performance, one of the most dominant defensive performances we've seen on the season from all NFL teams. And yes, I do realize it's the Jets. That's the point I'm trying to make across here. A really, really inferior opponent. Let's talk about the offense. So the brightest spot to me was the opening drive touchdown that this team scored. It's something that they haven't done all season, was put up 7 points on the opening drive, and that's something that needs to continue. I don't expect them to put up a touchdown on every game, on every first drive, but you got to get a nice drive and get some points out of it. If it's a field goal, it's okay. It's okay. Generate points. But after that, lots of inconsistency. Really didn't like the play calling. I really don't know what was up. But there's something I really like that this offense did do, and it's something that I'm really liking from this offensive staff. I don't know if it's Doug Peterson. I don't know if it's Deuce Staley who's doing these things. I love how they're using our running backs, and that's a trend I would like to continue to see. I love how they're giving Jordan Howard the bulk of the carries. Miles Sanders is getting a lot of carries himself, but Jordan Howard should be your lead back in terms of ball carrying duties. Miles Sanders, however, is like a receiving threat on this team. He recorded 4 receptions for 49 yards. And that's your running back, Miles Sanders. Now, Miles Sanders also carried the ball. He didn't do too well. He had 9 carries for 15 yards, which is fine. The yards per carry is going to rack up. It just depends on the situation and the opponent and stuff like that. Jordan Howard recorded 13 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown on that opening drive, obviously. So I just love the way we're utilizing the backs. As far as the passing game, I don't know what's going on, honestly. Carson Wentz, he had himself a good game, not a great game. It was good. He was 17 of 29 for 189 passing yards, and he recorded 1 touchdown. I think this was just an ugly blowout. You know, you have to consider all those times our defense scored touchdowns, the Jets offense would then have to come right back onto the field. So that took away a couple of possessions for this offense. And I think this offense probably could have put up more points if those things didn't happen. A win is a win. We won by 25 points. And I don't know, man. There's just a lot of negative energy in the air within Philadelphia. We feel like we should have won by more. A lot of people aren't happy with this offense. I mean, I'm going to give them a little leeway here. You can't forget, Corey Clement completely took away an offensive possession for this team because he fumbled a kick return. He muffed the punt return. I think it was a punt return he muffed, and it gave the ball to the Jets. So that took away another entire possession for the Eagles. So I believe there was about 3 possessions that the Eagles lost due to the defense scoring or our special teams making a mistake, like that Corey Clement example I just gave. So you kind of have to look at that as something as well. This offense probably could have done more damage because a lot of us expected this offense to do the bulk of the work in this game. We expected our defense to play good and against an inferior opponent, but we expected our offense to put up the points and the yardage and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm giving them some leeway here. Definitely some things to be concerned about, but I wouldn't be losing sleep about it. You know, the Eagles, I think they realized after that first possession of the game where they just completely walked up the field and scored a touchdown, they were like, oh man, this is a bad team. We can let our foot off the gas a little bit. I mean, you could tell. Our defense recorded 10 sacks. You know what I mean? There really wasn't a whole lot of sense of urgency, and there really wasn't a need to have a sense of urgency. We won by 25 points. We won by 25 points, and we're sitting here complaining about the offense and stuff like that. Look, I get it's the Jets. I get Sam Darnold didn't play, but we won by 25 points. Let's take the win, guys. A 25-point win in the NFL is no joke. All right? We're sitting at a 3-2 record. We're trending upwards, man. We won our last 2 games. We won a huge game on the road against the Green Bay Packers. Still waiting on the return of Deshaun Jackson because that's an element that we have been missing from this offense, and we're really going to need him as the schedule starts to get tougher in the coming weeks. So I don't know if he's going to play against the Minnesota Vikings, but having him back against the Dallas Cowboys when we're going to be fighting for the division basically would be really nice. We're going to have to stay tuned for that, obviously. But all around, you know, happy with this game. You know, our offense could have played better, obviously, but, you know, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the end. We won by 25 points, guys. Come on. Our defense got 10 sacks. It's a good trend. Good trend. I don't care who the opponent was. 25-point win, man. We're sitting at a 3-2 record. Dallas lost. That's always a good thing. And we got the Minnesota Vikings next, who, regardless of how they're playing, they're probably going to be in the mix for the playoffs come the end of the season. So it's going to be a tough game. I don't care how Kirk Cousins is playing. I don't care what locker room problems they got going on there. We cannot take them lightly. We're traveling to Minnesota, where I believe the last time we played, we won the Super Bowl, guys. So let's go back there and win another game. It's going to be a much tougher game than this one for sure. We're going to need this offense to play a lot better. But overall, I liked how we used the backs. You know what I mean? I hope that trend continues. And let's hope for Deshaun Jackson getting back, man. So yeah, man, we'll take this win, Eagles fans. Thanks for watching. And also, please leave a like, guys, so this video and podcast gets shared around YouTube and more people can access it, guys. I was your host, Stephen Conrad Jr. today. Please subscribe to this Painted Lines YouTube channel. I will catch you guys later.